Are you too shy to speak English in public? Do you feel nervous when you try to say something, afraid that people might judge you? Maybe you know exactly what you want to say, but the moment you open your mouth, your heart starts racing, your mind goes blank, and your voice comes out weak. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many English learners struggle with this fear. But let me tell you something important. You can overcome this. I know this because I've been there myself. I remember the first time I tried speaking English outside the classroom. My hands were sweaty, my voice was shaking, and I could feel my face turning red. I wanted to speak, but I kept thinking, what if I say something wrong? What if people laugh at me? What if they don't understand me? So, I stayed quiet. I avoided speaking whenever I could.
Do you want to master English? Our top-rated course covers grammar, speaking, pronunciation, and writing. Learn fast and speak with confidence. Link in the description.
I thought if I just kept studying English, one day I would magically feel confident enough to speak. But that day never came until I decided to change something. Maybe you're doing the same thing. You keep waiting for the right moment to speak, the moment when you'll feel completely ready, confident, and fluent. But the truth is, that moment will never come unless you take action. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you build. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. When you were a child, did you wait until you felt confident before getting on the bike? No, you just tried. You wobbled, you fell, and you made mistakes. But with every attempt, you got better. Speaking English is the same. You won't feel confident before you start. You will feel confident because you start. The fear of speaking English in public usually comes from one main problem: the fear of being judged. You might be thinking, what if people laugh at my accent? What if I make a mistake? But let me ask you something. When was the last time you laughed at someone for speaking your native language imperfectly? Probably never. Because when we hear someone trying to speak our language, we don't judge them, we admire their effort. Most people feel the same way about you speaking English. But I know that knowing this is not enough. You need real steps to overcome your shyness. And I want to share with you what worked for me. At first, I started small. Instead of speaking in front of a crowd, I practiced alone. Every morning, I spoke to myself in English. I described what I was doing. I am brushing my teeth. I am making coffee. I am getting ready for the day. It felt strange, but it helped me get used to hearing my own voice in English. Then, I started practicing with recordings. I recorded myself speaking and listened to it. At first, I didn't like how I sounded. I noticed every mistake, every hesitation. But over time, I realized that my mistakes were not as bad as I thought. And most importantly, I could hear my progress. Next, I spoke to people one-on-one. Instead of trying to speak in a big group, I started with one person, a friend, a tutor, or even a shop assistant. I ordered coffee in English. I asked for directions. I made small talk with strangers. These tiny steps slowly built my confidence. I also changed the way I thought about mistakes. Instead of seeing them as something bad, I saw them as proof that I was learning. Every mistake meant that I was pushing myself, stepping out of my comfort zone. And the more I spoke, the more I realized something incredible. Nobody cared about my mistakes as much as I did. People were just happy that I was trying. One of the biggest things that helped me was thinking in English instead of translating from my native language. When we translate in our heads, it slows us down and makes us more nervous. But when I trained myself to think directly in English, words started coming out more naturally. The biggest change happened when I stopped avoiding difficult situations. I used to run away from conversations, afraid of embarrassing myself. But one day, I decided to do the opposite. If I saw an opportunity to speak English, I took it. I challenged myself. The first few times were hard, but then something amazing happened. I started enjoying conversations. I stopped worrying about being perfect, and I focused on communicating. And you know what? That's when my confidence truly started growing. Now, let me ask you, what's stopping you from speaking English today? Are you waiting to feel ready? Are you afraid of making mistakes? Do you think people will judge you? If so, I have one piece of advice: speak anyway. Speak even if you feel nervous. Speak even if you make mistakes. Speak even if your voice shakes. Because every time you speak, you're practicing. Every time you practice, you're improving. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the thing you were once afraid of is now something you enjoy. So here's my challenge for you. Start today. Speak to yourself, record your voice, talk to a friend, or start a conversation with a stranger. Take that first step. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be something. Remember, you are capable of more than you think. The only way to overcome your fear is to face it. And the more you speak, the more confident you will become. If this story inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, comment below, and subscribe to our channel. We are here to help you on your English speaking journey, and we'll keep sharing motivation, tips, and strategies to help you grow. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update, and let's improve together.